This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, welcome to our Renville County HRA EDA Lunch and Learn. Today is Wednesday, the 10th. Today's the 10th of May, 2023. Welcome to our Lunch and Learn. Today's topic is programs and resources for veterans. So we've got two home run hitters chatting with us here today. We've got Mike Jackson from the U.S. Small Business Administration, the SBA, as most folks know it, as well as Mr. Lee Stock. And Lee is our Veteran Service Officer here in Renville County. Just so everybody knows, this event is being recorded. We like to tape these simply because we know a lot of folks aren't able to make it at noon. Everybody's schedule's busy, but we do like to record them. We post them on our website, which is renville.com, and then we promote the event promote the website. Folks can come back and watch at their convenience. Again, today's topic is programs and resources for veterans. We do this every month, standing meeting at the second Wednesday of the month over the noon hour. Used to do this live and in person before COVID. We found that more folks attend online simply because they don't have to drive. It's nice and easy and convenient. I do want to do a little shameless promoting here just a second while I've got the microphone. We've got some great events coming up here in the next several months. We've got coming up later this summer, Give to the Max Day. We're going to be doing a lunch and learn, kind of focusing on nonprofits and how they can prepare to participate in Give to the Max Day, which is around Thanksgiving time. Also, we're going to be doing an event for Small Business Saturday. That's always the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So how to prepare for that, how to make the most of that. Also, Women's Small Business Month, we'll be talking about programs and resources focusing on female entrepreneurs, as well as on year-end taxes. Good to know how to prepare for it and things to do before the calendar flips over into 2024. But those events are coming up as well, so we'll keep you posted as the days go along. So again, with that, we're talking programs and resources for veterans here today. First speaker we'd like to introduce is Mike Jackson from the U.S. Small Business Administration, the SBA. Mike is a Navy veteran. Was fortunate enough to bump into Mike here last week. The SBA had an event honoring some of their businesses that took part in SBA programs down in the Twin Cities, including one of the business was the veteran owned business of the year. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Mike Jackson. Mike, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jordan. I do appreciate it, and thank you for that introduction. So I can actually now kind of skip over my main screen here, which had my information there. But the one thing I do want to emphasize is that not only myself, but the SBA, we believe that veterans and their spouses make great entrepreneurs because you have been required to be disciplined and work as a team to accomplish a goal. And these are the skills that are necessary for any entrepreneur to be successful. So there are three primary areas that the SBA offers assistance to small businesses. They are counseling, capital, contracting, or what the SBA likes to use, start, grow, and expand. And within these three areas, there are specific programs to assist veteran-owned, service-disabled veteran-owned, and their spouses start and expand their businesses. Now, the first one we're going to talk about here is about some of the training programs, and there are three primary counseling and training programs that we utilize. That's our Veterans Business Outreach Center, which I will call VBOC from now on, Boots to Business, and the Boots to Business Reboot. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about them now. So that first one is the VBOC. There are 28 centers nationwide who are full resource partners who provide that SBA resource navigation and referrals. They can provide one-on-one assistance. They can help you develop and take a look at your business plan, finances, financial projections, anything and everything that you need to get your business up and running. As you can see by the screen here, they are growth focused on what we call high vet or military installation density areas. So that means they're located at like Norfolk Naval Station, Fort Knox, different military bases around the nation. Additionally, the VBOCs are also the lead resource partner in regards to our Boots to Business and our Boots to Business Reboot program. If you are located here in Minnesota, our VBOC is regionalized out of Wisconsin. So Wisconsin takes care of themselves, Illinois, and Minnesota. Their director is Keith Murphy. Dan Murphy actually just recently left, but they do provide a lot of assistance Keith himself is a fellow veteran and small business owner who is now providing his time to be able to help out other small businesses. So our next here is the Boots to Business program, which is a two-step entrepreneurial training program. The first step is either a 1 or a 2-day classroom or online course that focuses on business basics. The second step, after you completed the first part, is an 8-week online course that offers in-depth instruction on the elements of a business plan and guidance about starting a business. Now, the Boots to Business and the Boots to Business Reboot program are exactly the same, except for the audience. The Reboot is for all other era veterans and their spouses. And I just realized I jumped ahead of screen. And then the actual Boots to Business is for all veterans who are transitioning out of the service here soon. So it's a great way to be able to get some more additional training. You can meet with subject matter experts. When I host the reboots locally around the state, I typically bring in SCORE coaches, SCORE mentors, SBDC coaches, a lawyer, a lender from a financial institution, so that way you can get that direct assistance from those subject matter experts. And then you can also network with other small businesses and veterans. So the next area is where most people are reaching out to the SBA, is that access to capital. Now, the SBA provides a financial assistance through its loan guarantee programs. This is where we guarantee a percentage of a loan back to our participating lender. The guarantee allows that lender to be able to offer more flexible terms to the borrower. And this can be loans from about $100,000 up to $5 million. And they can be used for most business purposes, including long-term fixed assets and operating capital. The SBA can help you access funding through several different lending programs that can help you launch, grow, and expand a startup, start or purchase an existing small business, have access to revolving credit or capital for working expenses, purchase, renovate, expand facilities, or purchase commercial real estate or land, and finally, also export product or service. So the SBA has 3 guaranteed loan programs, a microloan program, and a disaster program. So the first 3 that you see there are our 7A, the 7A Express, and the 504 loan program. Those are the programs that are guaranteed or utilized for the SBA with our participating lenders. So the first one I'm going to be talking about here, and just the big thing I want to say is, outside of disaster, the SBA does not lend money. Additionally, unless you can cure cancer while putting somebody on Mars, the SBA does not provide grants for small businesses, okay? That is a myth that's been going around for decades. So the only thing that we do is we provide that loan guarantee through our participating lenders. That guarantee percentage rate can vary depending on the amount that you are borrowing. Typically for our general 7A Express, it is up to 50%. For our general 7A, it's anywhere from 50% to 85%. The more you borrow, the higher that percentage rate goes. And then our export loans are 90%. Typically, the terms for the 7A program is working capital and equipment is 10 years, and for commercial real estate, 25 years. Now, there is a benefit out there for veterans on our 7A Express. And what that is we are waiving the upfront guarantee fee on the 7A Express, meaning that for the way the program works is that we will go and for a non-veteran, you would go to a lender. If that lender approves you at say 6%, SBA can add on roughly 1 to 1.5% depending on the risk. And that's how we fund the program past, present, and future. For veterans, we're waiving that. You just pay the interest rate approved by the lender, but you still get the 50% guarantee. That helps mitigate any type of risk that a lender may see, and then any business assets you have becomes secondary. So it's a good advantage right there to be able to get that access to capital. We have noticed that most veterans and their spouses, when they are starting out a small business, the average size of a startup capital loan is about $350,000. So that's why we've made the maximum amount $500,000. The one thing I do want to emphasize is if you do reach out to a lender and you want to go down the 7A Express route, please emphasize that you are a veteran or a spouse of a veteran. The lenders do not have to ask. They do not have to put it on that application. And if you do not say anything, they're going to charge you the upfront guarantee fee. Our next program is the 504 program, which was designed to enable existing small businesses to create and retain jobs. A typical 504 project includes 3 parties. The first one is a loan secured with a senior lien by a private sector lender at 50%. Then a second loan is secured with a junior lien made by the certified development company that's funded by the SBA at 40%. And then at least 10% is contributed by small businesses or another non-federal source who will take a third-party collateral position on the loan. And this is what we call gap financing. This is where sometimes local municipalities or counties and cities can step in and provide some gap financing to help you get to that 10%. Next is the only time that the SBA does loans, which is called our disaster loan. The disaster loan is typically a low interest loan for a term of 30 years. This helps out for you to have an affordable and accessible loans to get your business, home, and life back on track. At this time, we have transitioned away from the COVID-19 economic injury disaster loans and now primarily focusing on the loans for physical disasters, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, and so forth. If you are located in a disaster zone, it has to be declared a federal disaster loan, either by the president, by the governor, and then approved again by the president, and then the SBA will be able to provide that kind of assistance. Our third area that we provide assistance is in government contracting. A lot of veterans are familiar with how government contracting works. They may have actually worked with some type of a contracting officer or a contracting team during their time in the service. There are 7 areas that I'm going to briefly touch on. The first is the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business Procurement Program. And the reason this was developed back in 1999, I believe it was, under public law, this was to establish an annual government-wide goal of no less than 3% of all prime and subcontract awards be to veteran or service disabled veteran-owned small businesses. Since 1999, that 3% has grown up to 15% now. And what that means is that 15% of all government contracts have to be looked at first for those who are veteran-owned or service disabled veteran-owned. And that brings me into the next area, which is the certification process. Previously, if you have been a veteran and had a small business or you've gone through the veteran certification process, it used to be housed with the Veterans Administration. The SBA has taken that over as of January 1st of this year. We are now doing all of the certification for veteran-owned or service-stable veteran small businesses. And the reason we do this is the SBA already manages all other government-wide socioeconomic programs for everybody, including veteran-owned and service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses. The transfer will help eliminate any confusion and redundancy in the roles between the VA and the SBA, and then provide those service members with a one-stop shop for their small business certification and contracting needs. If you have not done so, you can register for that, and I'll be talking about that website here in just a moment, but we're going to talk a little bit about the eligibility. First, you must be identified by the VA as a veteran or a service disabled veteran. So that means for those veterans out there who have not gone to the VA yet, I highly recommend that you work with your veteran county service officer, one of the other nonprofits out there that can help you with your claim with the VA, because you need to be inside the VA system first. Then you must also be considered small, defined by the SBA size standards that corresponds with the proper NAICS code for your business. And then finally, be 51% or more owned by the veteran or service disabled veteran owned entity. Right here now is the actual website that we have. The website is called veterans.certified.sba.gov for those of you that may be on the phone. Additionally, I will be sharing a copy of this PowerPoint with Jordan at a PDF format. So anything that is blue and underlined will be a direct link to the websites. So the biggest thing that I want to emphasize to veterans, if you're going to be participating in any type of program through the SBA, make sure you get into the veteran certification process and get certified. Even if you're not going to do government contracting, there's still going to be benefits for you. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Our next set aside program is called the 8A Business Development Program, which was established to help small disadvantaged businesses grow. Small disadvantaged businesses are those that are owned and controlled by persons that are presumed socially and economically disadvantaged. That's women, minority, and veterans. The 8A Business Development Program is a great way to grow a business and establish a foothold when contracting with other federal agencies. To be eligible, of course, you have to be a small business, have previously not participated in the 8A program, be at least 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens who are socially or economically disadvantaged, and demonstrate good character and potential to perform. Our next set aside is called the Hub Zone Program, which stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. The Hub Zone program was established to spur growth in economically distressed areas. If you believe that your business is located in a hub zone, there is a map where you can go and verify that is a hub zone. And if it is, you may be able to be certified and compete for contracts that are on that set aside list. Again, qualifications are be a small business, be at least 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens, a community development corporation, agricultural cooperative, an Alaska Native corporation, a Native Hawaii organization, or a Native American tribe. Additionally, you must have your principal office located within that hub zone and have at least 35% of your employees living in the hub zone. Our final set-aside program is the women-owned certification process, which is defined by several key tenets. The program applies only to contracts in designated industries. Only women-owned businesses or economically disadvantaged women-owned small businesses are eligible. Competition is required. To be eligible, again, small business, at least 51% owned and controlled by a woman who is a U.S. citizen, and have a woman manage the day-to-day operations and also make long-term decisions. To apply for this, you can go to beta.certified.sba.gov. Currently, the SBA is working to update that website to be more like the veteran certification process. The veteran certification process to the website takes about 20 minutes to fill out the application. It then goes to the SBA team for review, which takes about 21 days to complete. Once they verify that you are a veteran and all the other program requirements are met, you are notified by the SBA that you are certified as a veteran-owned or service-disabled veteran-owned small business. And that's what we're working on now with our women-owned small business program. One of the tools that are out there for you to be able to utilize, it's called Minnesota Apex Accelerators, or formerly PTAC, the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. And their mission is to strengthen Minnesota's economy by stimulating job creation, growth, and business retention. And to accomplish this goal, they can assist businesses in securing government contracts through bid match servicing, GSA schedules, specifications on federal regulations and military specifications, and so forth. Our next program that's out there is called the Veteran-Owned Surplus Property Program. And this is a great opportunity for veterans and spouses of veterans to be able to purchase government property that is no longer being utilized by the government. Now, most veterans, myself included, I can recall the days that we actually took our old equipment to Dermo and turned it in, and it's probably not in the best of shape. And everybody always hears, military grade. Well, military grade sometimes is not the best. But this is also other federal agencies. This is Department of Agriculture, Department of Transportation, even the SBA. We turn in equipment that we never use. This could be heavy equipment, vehicles, office equipment, supplies, furniture, and so forth. And this is the main reason that I was emphasizing you need to be certified as a small business or a veteran-owned small business. Because to be eligible for this program, you need to be in the system as a veteran-owned or service-disabled veteran small business. Our last one here, and this is really the only time I'm going to talk about anything about the word grant, is through our Small Business Innovation Research Program and our Small Business Technology Transfer Program. These are two sister programs that are set up to be able to utilize federal and research development dollars for products or services that may be used for commercialization. This is very important because it could be things such as our cell phones is a great example. 40, 50 years ago, most cellular technology were the big brick Motorola phones that were primarily used by the military, to where now today we actually have mini computers in our pockets. That's where research and development dollars came into play. Same way with the GPS system. 40, 50 years ago, GPS could get you within a mile of your location. Today, GPS can actually pinpoint you down to the seat that we're sitting in our own home. So these are some programs that if you feel that you are have something that can be utilized for research and development, for commercialization, you can reach out to our new SBIR director, who's Pat Dillon, and they can provide that assistance. And then finally, there are some additional resources that are located here in the state of Minnesota. Our first one is our Small Business Development Centers. They are located at our universities scattered around the state. So they're with St. Thomas University, Southwest Southwest University in Marshall, Mankato, Duluth, and so forth. They have business coaches that can provide one-on-one assistance. Our next one is SCORE. These are successful business owners who are volunteering their time and their expertise to help you develop that business plan, those finances and financial projections, anything and everything you need to take into a lender when you need that access to capital or you need some assistance in marketing and so forth. Here in Minnesota, we have 4 chapters with over 600 mentors around the state, so they are great resources to utilize. Our next one is the Women's Business Center. Here in Minnesota, we have 3 centers that cover the state. One center is in the St. Paul area, that's Women Venture. And then we have the Women's Business Alliance centers in Duluth and Little Falls. They do have programs that are specifically tailored to women entrepreneurs, but everybody and anybody can utilize their skills and resources. And you can use all 3 resources at the same time. We encourage you to contact our resource partners and utilize their expertise. Our next one is one that I'm not sure many people are still utilizing to this day, but we are on Twitter at SBA_Minnesota. We do provide updated information such as training events, funding alerts, and policy updates. We are also transitioning over to LinkedIn. So we're going to have a team LinkedIn page where we will be providing this information also. I'm going to now hand this over to Lee so that he can provide some information. And then after that, we'll be able to answer questions that may be there for both of us. Lee?
Thank you very much, Don. I appreciate that. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay, very good. Of course, everyone or every veteran out there is different, and the VA has a plethora of programs out there based on eligibility. First thing I want to touch on is, as far as eligibility for VA benefits and what the technical term is for a veteran, it is based off of the 38 CFR federal law and also state law. What the technical term is, or the terminology that the state and the federal government use to what is a veteran, it's someone who is activated or on active orders for 180 days or more, not in a training status, but in a duty status. So what that means, unfortunately, is right now, if individual is in the National Guard or the reserves and they do not deploy or they do not do active duty in a non-training status, most programs they are ineligible for. So with that being said, I have a lot of reservists that come in here and say, well, I was in the Guard for 6 years or in the reserves for 6 years. I'd like to get my VA benefits. Unfortunately, they're not eligible. One of the things that we run into a lot is an active duty person will come in and they won't have their DD-214. What a DD-214 is basically the record of service and or honorable discharge for the said veteran after their time of active duty. That's the main documentation I need to ensure that the veteran is eligible for VA benefits. I am not a VA employee. I am a county employee. Therefore, with that being said, I am probably one of the biggest critics of VA, but also a champion of the VA. The system isn't perfect, but it's the only system we have. With that being said, I'd like to talk about some of the local things that are going on for veterans benefits right now. Montevideo is in the process, the state of Minnesota is in the process of building a veterans home in Montevideo. It is a 64-bed unit, private rooms, private bathrooms, and a common living area. This is scheduled to open on or about 9/11 of this year. So September 11th is the tentative date of them opening it. This is a Minnesota state facility. The biggest problem that they're having right now is finding workers out there to, and nurses and so forth, cooks, janitors, everything. So if they can't get fully staffed, they're not going to be able to have every bed filled. So that's one of our big things going on in the area. Right now, the state is taking applications. I have those applications in my office, and every CVSO in the state has those in their office. Also, the other thing locally that's going on is the Redwood Falls Veterans Cemetery. This will be a state run cemetery. Building process is going on right now, and they hope to open this fall or early winter also. They're in the process of hiring full-time employees. I believe there's 8 positions that will be filled for the Redwood Falls Veterans Cemetery. Again, these are state positions, well-paying jobs, and locally resourced. With that being said, those are the biggest things locally we have going on. One thing that I'd like to share now is the phone number for my office. If anyone knows of a veteran out there that needs help, please share my phone number. And this is my office number, 320-523-3763. I work by appointment only. That way I can serve the veteran as best as possible and have all those resources available for whatever he or she needs. The biggest thing that we have coming through the door in our office right now is individuals that are seeking compensation and disability for injuries or illnesses that occurred in the service. With that being said, with Agent Orange related health problems and now burn pit issues from the global war on terrorism, we are finding a lot of veterans with systemic skin, breathing problems, and so forth. So if you know of a vet out there that was exposed to Agent Orange during the Vietnam War, boots on ground, and or Iraq or Afghanistan, ask them, are you seeking any benefits through the VA? Are you using healthcare through the VA? One of the largest problems we have since 9/11 hit, mental health is huge, and it's not just the veterans population. This is a greater Minnesota issue. Thank God there are so many agencies out there that want to help. We're still in a state where we lose about 20 veterans a day to suicide. That is inexcusable, and we have to do something about that. Our society needs to do something about that. With that being said, again, it's not just a veterans issue, it's a United States world issue. But I hope I'm hoping that we get better. Homelessness. The state launched a crusade against veterans homelessness, and it has been quite successful. Still, current projections is that there's still in the U.S. approximately 200,000 veterans that are homeless. Of course, this is in highly populated areas. In good old Renville County, we've been very lucky. I think since I started here 12 years ago, there's only been 3 that have seek care and or help through my office. Minnesota state programs, I don't want to forget about those. Minnesota state programs are as long as the veteran meets eligibility requirements, they have grants available for dental, optical, special needs, subsistence, and again, as with most federal programs and or state programs, it's income based. So, if an individual comes up and they have income and assets that are over the state guidance, they won't qualify. So I Personally, I don't agree with that, but nonetheless, we try to work with that. One other thing that gets used a lot in our county is if a veteran is 70% more disabled deemed by the VA. The state of Minnesota has a program where if the individual is 70% disabled or more, they receive a homestead tax exemption for $150,000 if their property is $150,000 for 70, 80, and 90%. If the veteran is 100% permanent and total disabled, that dollar amount arises to $300,000 property value. Now, this is just the homestead. It's not property, it's just the actual home. They have to own their home and occupy it. With that being said, that's about all I have for now. I will say this, that again, every veteran is different and there is so many programs out there that bottom line is I could talk all day, but you guys wouldn't want to listen to me all day. But with that being said, again, word of mouth is my best tool that I love to use. If a veteran's happy using our office, normally they're going to spread the word around to their fellow friends and veterans. And with that being said, I know Don and I are available to take any questions, or we'll sure try to answer any questions. With that, I will shut my mouth.
This is Jordan with Renville County Economic Development. Just want to mention one more program through the state of Minnesota, through DEED, Department of Employment and Economic Development. There is the Minnesota Reservist and Veteran Business Loan Program. When I worked for the state, I helped manage that, worked with Lee and did a in Renville County. If you have either have served or are actively serving or have served since 9/11 of 2001 or honorably discharged, you're eligible. It is loans of up to $20,000, 0% interest, no payments for the first 18 months. So a great program available. Feel free to give me a call. I can get you connected to the folks down in St. Paul to make that happen as well. Opening it up for questions. If anybody has any questions for Mike or for Lee. I guess Jordan, I'm going to start. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Jordan, this is Gary Foster with Ridgewater College.
Yes, sir.
And just one second here, I can turn my camera on.
Hey, good to see you, Gary.
Yeah, same here. I don't have a question. I just had a comment. I am retired Air Force, and I have used the services from the Veteran County Service Officer here in McLeod County and in Wright County and a couple others. So not specifically with Renville County. I just wanted to put in a plug for that position and what the Veteran County or Service Office does, at least in the terms of helping veterans connect with the VA and get all the paperwork done and connect, with the Legion and the different groups where all of these resources are. So again, just to plug out their expertise and knowledge. I don't know, I think it's Lee personally, but all I can say is very positive things about the services they provide.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. And thanks all you gentlemen for your service. I guess question, my dad's a veteran, lives at one county north up in Chippewa County, and he takes the vet's car to the VA when he has to go. Lee, are you the person who kind of handles that here in Renville County? If a veteran's got some mobility issues, needs to get a ride to the VA?
Yes, we have a van program. We have both a handicapped accessible van and we have other vans available through the county. Our schedule is every odd number day, we go to the Minneapolis VA, and every Wednesday we go to the St. Cloud VA. Since the VA does use a lot more contracted healthcare providers in greater Minnesota, we can facilitate that provided we have enough time, lead time to get a driver scheduled. But yes, our office, and that's that 523-3763 number. And my assistant CVSO, he manages that program. His name's Mike, and he's very good at trying to facilitate helping any veteran out as far as getting to their appointments.
Awesome. Thank you, Lee. Thanks. Other questions? Anybody else online? Any questions for Mike or for Lee? Or you can ask Gary a question too. I know they've got at Ridgewater College, if you're a veteran, they've got some great programs tied in with the GI Bill and some of the vet benefits there too. And Gary can probably help walk you through that process a little bit too. Okay, I don't mean to monopolize, but I'll ask another question. So Lee, you were talking about if you've got a friend who's a veteran who lives in Fergus Falls or lives in Wilmer or lives wherever, you've got a network of other veteran service officers. Even if you're not providing direct service, they can contact you, Lee, and you can get the ball rolling and point them in the right direction?
Yeah, I sure can. A number of individuals who lived in Renville County and moved throughout the entire United States with technology now and the ability to share information. I have veterans from all over the United States using our services. It's really odd that there are states, a number of states, that don't have county veteran service officers. The requirement for a county veteran service officer is based off of Minnesota state law and a number of other states' laws that a county must have a county veteran service officer. But in a number of southern states, they rely on the fact that they have so many military bases south of the Mason-Dixon line that they don't have county veteran service officers. So we fill a need, I think, and I haven't. We all are accredited nationally. We have to take CEUs every year to stay up on VA business and programs. You know, if a veteran has a problem with the VA, normally what I've found out is that they don't have reasonable expectations, and they want the VA to take care of them and their health care. Well, the VA only knows what it knows as far as someone's healthcare posture. So with that being said, you know, other than that, I don't think I've ever had a veteran that has reasonable expectations that has not been happy with the care that they've received. And now with the PACT Act and community care, I think the VA healthcare system is more proactive than they've ever been in trying to get care to the veteran in the fastest way possible. And the last thing I'll say is, if it's throughout the state of Minnesota, I think we're legally obligated that we don't care what county they're from. Sometimes the veteran will not mesh with their local VA service or CVSO, and they'll jump county lines, or they'll know a guy in Jackson County, served with them, whatever. So, you know, the Minnesota system is the same, and the VA system is the same for all of us. And I never turn away a veteran and say, go to your own county. That's just the wrong answer.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. Mike, one quick question for you, if I can. What's kind of the front door, if you're an entrepreneur, you own a business, you're starting a business, the front door for some of these SBA programs? Is it talk with your existing banker, or, you know, what do you see that most common, Mike?
It just depends on what level you're at. If you are just a brand new startup, you have no idea which way you're going, it's to utilize those three resource partners that I talked about. First one, the Veterans Business Outreach Center, SCORE, and the Small Business Development Centers. They're going to help you develop that business plan, take a look at your regular finances, your financial projections. The reason I say that is because your business plan is the most important document you're going to have for the life of your business. It's a living, breathing document. It's a roadmap. If you are not constantly taking a look at it, that's when something can come up. When you reach out to a lender or an investor for access to capital, they want to see that business plan. It tells them the story, tells them what the business is, what the product is, what risks there are, how they're mitigating those risks, those kinds of things right there. Every bank out there, they're a business themselves, they're risk averse, they're going to take a look at things. And if you can't mitigate those risks or show that you're trying to do different things, they're not going to really work with you. I've had too many times people who have no business plan go in and talk to a lender. Majority of the time, they're the larger lender saying, hey, I need help with my small business. I need access to capital. The lender's like, well, here, apply for our business credit card. That's not going to help you because a business credit card is maybe, a max of 50,000 at like 29%. And some small business owners don't realize that when you're starting a small business, where's your 5-year plan? Where are you going to break even? Are you breaking even at 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, so forth? I've talked to a lot of veterans out there saying, hey, I got this idea. I'm going to start a business. I only need 60,000 to start my business. And me just talking to them in general, not being a business coach or a business mentor or anything, I just start asking different questions, and suddenly that 60,000 balloons into 400,000. And I'm like, see, it's better to apply for one business loan at 400,000 than 4 or 5 at 60,000 with multiple interest rates. And that's where SCORE and the SBDC comes in. Those volunteers and mentors, they're going to be critically honest with you. I always say that family members or friends are on either end of a spectrum. You're going to do great, go for it. You're going to fail, why are you going to try? Our resource partners are right in the middle. They'll be critically honest with you and say, hey, this is a good idea, but there's something wrong here we need to fix. To get to XYZ, we need to do ABC first. They're going to be that critically honest voice for you right there. Those who may be in business currently, if you currently working on your business plan or have a business plan, that's great. You can still utilize those resource partners to have them take a look at it again. One thing that I recommend every small business owner, if you take 10, 15 minutes to look at your finances at the end of the month, you should take another 10 minutes to take a look at your business plan. We discovered that during the pandemic, small business owners that had looked at their business plan 10, 15, 20 years ago or never wrote a business plan, they really struggled or failed during the pandemic. Those small business owners that had a current business plan or recently looked at one or were able to pivot, they were able to really weather the pandemic a little bit easier and utilize our resources to be able to stay through that. So back to you, Jordan.
No, I appreciate that. And I see on the line is Bernie Berger. Bernie is our local small business development center rep who can work with entrepreneurs, veterans, non-veterans alike. She is just happy to work with everybody trying to get businesses rolling. So don't want to dominate this conversation. Other questions, comments, things anybody wants to bring up regarding programs and resources for veterans?
I'd just like to bring up a couple more things if I could. Since I see when Gary got on the line there, 2 things that I did not talk about. Number 1, dependent educational assistance. If a veteran is 100% service connected, permanent and totally, they will, their spouse and or dependents, children, will be eligible for Chapter 35 DEA benefits. There are some different parameters out there. Nonetheless, it's a wonderful benefit. And also the GI Bill. With the government, it's either one or the other. You can use either the GI Bill or you can use Chapter 35 benefits if they are eligible for that. GI Bill benefits, post 9/11 GI Bill benefits are transferable from the veteran to their spouse and or dependent children. The other thing I would like to bring up is VA home loans, which is, I've never used a VA home loan until about 5 years ago, and boy, I kicked myself for not using it years past. Boy, what a benefit. Basically, the VA stands behind insurance that loan will be paid off. So, and I tell you, It's harder to find a bank that wants to work with a home loan or VA home loan because it is a little extra work, but boy, it sure is a benefit for that first time home buyer or how many ever homes you ever buy throughout your lifetime. It's a huge benefit.
Yeah, I echo that, Lee. I've actually used the VA home loan guarantee 3 times in the last 11 years. As long as you don't go over the cap, I think it's 450,000. You can utilize it as you're buying and selling a home and everything. It's a great guarantee, even though there are some lenders that may be leery to go that route just because there's some extra insurance requirements and things like that. They cannot deny you a loan for that reason. If they do, they are violating federal law.
And to find out more about that, Lee, is that something you can at least give them kind of the nickel tour of and how to get the ball rolling?
You bet. Sure can. The only thing that the veteran will need is to get a certificate of eligibility, and that can be done through the VA. It can be done through the bank. Once they find a bank that will service that VA home loan. So with that being said, yeah, the state and the VA always say we're the first line of defense when a vet wants to use the VA or get involved with the VA. So yeah, we have the information, and although we don't necessarily service the loan or anything or get the certificate of eligibility, we sure know how to get the information so they can get it.
Awesome. Awesome. Other questions, other comments, other thoughts? Going once. Going twice. Last call. All right. Thank you very much. There it is. Kaput. So thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate your time today. Mike Jackson with the U.S. Small Business Administration. And if I didn't mention before, Mike is a Navy vet. And Lee Stock, Renville County's Veteran Service Officer. Lee is an Army vet, and Gary's got the camera on. Gary with Ridgewater College. He is an Air Force vet. Do we have any Marine vets here to help round things out? Well, this is going to be a fight here between all the three branches. Yeah, I'm not placing any wagers on that one.
The Marines are somewhere eating crayons.
Fair enough. Thanks, Lee. That works. So thank you to all of our veterans for their service to our nation. Thank you, gentlemen, for presenting today. Again, if you've got questions, Lee is our Veteran County Service Officer. He operates by appointment. You can look him up online or give me a call. I'll get you connected or just Google it. And Mike is with the U.S. Small Business Administration, the SBA. If you want to chat with Mike more on that, just let me know. His contact info was up on the screen here earlier. So thank you again, gentlemen. Thank you for your service. And our Renville County HRA EDA Lunch and Learn is done every month on the second Wednesday of the month over the noon hour. Different topic every month, focused on concerns of Renville County residents and businesses. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.